Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Mainstream Mondays, right here on Night Owl Video. Today I'm talking about one of my all-time favorites, King Kong 1976. So we'll be talking about cast, production, critical reception, my thoughts on the film, where you can watch it, and all that jazz. So I hope you will stick around and enjoy this review. So I'm just going to jump right into it. This is a monster adventure film from 1976. It was directed by a person named John Guillermin, who also directed Towering Inferno, as well as the less than stellar King Kong Lives, although I do have a soft spot for it. This movie stars Jeff Bridges, who was, of course, in John Carpenter's Starman, as well as The Big Lebowski, Iron Man, Tron Legacy, and the remake of True Grit, which he actually did a really good job in. This also stars Charles Grodin, who was in Rosemary's Baby, as well as Beethoven. I think that's like a dog movie. This also stars Jessica Lange. I believe this was her first movie. Yeah, this is her film debut. She was also in Cape Fear from 1991, the remake. And she was in a bunch of those American Horror Story series. I think I only actually saw the first one, whichever one that was. I did enjoy it, but I didn't continue to watch. But this was her film debut. The synopsis for King Kong 1976 is when a research ship is sent to explore an island thought to be rich in oil, paleontologist Jack Prescott, played by Jeff Bridges, sneaks aboard, having heard strange rumors about the island. En route, the crew rescues Dwan, played by Jessica Lange, the sole survivor of a shipwreck. When they arrive on Skull Island, they discover native people living in fear of a monster called Kong. The natives kidnap Dwan and sacrifice her to what turns out to be an enormous ape. Dwan is eventually rescued, and well, I won't spoil the ending for you, but this is from 1976, so if you haven't seen it already, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry if any of that's spoilers. I mean, I think most people are familiar with the King Kong story. Of course, this is a modern version of the 1933 film that is considered by a lot to be like one of the best early sort of stop motion monster movies. This version, and now I'm holding up a VHS tape. The reason I'm holding this up is because this is the original movie poster, which is my favorite. Like, I love this image. I actually would love to have this on a poster. But I found this a few years ago at the thrift store. Look at that. Look at that. It's just amazing. The other side is slightly faded, but there's a picture of Jessica Lange on the back. And then this is one of these old school, like, it's got like a little flap, and your tape is inside there. This tape is, I did watch this tape once. It's seen better days. So actually what I do typically when I want to watch this movie, I watch this version, which is from 2005 from Paramount. And you'll notice that the cover art is different. I believe that's because this is on the cover of this is the Twin Towers from 9/11, 2001. And I think maybe after that they decided to switch the cover art to something a little more innocuous. So yeah, we're sort of stuck with this version now. I think this has actually been reissued on 4K, and I don't even know if that has the original poster art on it. But this, by the way, is the first. I'm pretty sure this is the first movie I ever saw in the theater. Yeah, because the earliest memories I have of going to the cinema, this was it, and after that was Pete's Dragon, and I think that was the following year. So this was the first movie I saw on the big screen. I was just a little kid, right? 76. So I was 6 years old when I saw this on the big screen. My dad took me to see this, and this blew my mind. But I'll get into that in a bit. This version of the film features mechanical effects by Carlo Rimbaldi and makeup effects by Rick Baker, who also played the title character of King Kong. It's the fifth entry in the King Kong franchise. Filming lasted from January to August of 1976. So this must have been a pretty quick turnaround as far as editing and post-production. Before the film's release, Universal Pictures sued Dino De Laurentiis, who put this thing into motion, and RKO General, alleging breach of contract, and attempted to develop their own remake of King Kong. In response, De Laurentiis and RKO filed separate countersuits against Universal Pictures, all of which were withdrawn in January of 1976. Of the three King Kong main films, it is the only one to feature the World Trade Center instead of the Empire State Building. A sequel, as I mentioned, King Kong Lives, was released in 1986 with Guillermin once again at the director's helm. I watched that movie last year for the first time in my life. I'd always heard it was really bad. It was bad, but still, like, for me, it was still enjoyable. If you guys are regular watchers of my channel, you know that I have a soft spot for, like, cheesy 60s, 70s, 80s monster movies. The budget for this film was $24 million, and the box office was a whopping $90.6 million. So this was a pretty big box office hit when it came out. In a notable departure from the original film, the dinosaurs were dropped from the island. The reason for the drop subplot was due to the increased attention on Kong and Dwan's love story, and financial reasons, as De Laurentiis did not want to use stop-motion animation in the film. Nevertheless, there is a scene with a giant boa constrictor that was incorporated into the film, and that scene's pretty... If you've seen this movie, it's pretty cool. I mean, I like it. Again, I like it. I might be a little biased, but it is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. Especially when you're 6 and you're seeing, like, King Kong fighting this giant snake. It's pretty cool. This film was, as I mentioned, produced by Dino De Laurentiis, and his first choice for director was Roman Polanski before the film went to Guillermin. Guillermin, who was known to have had outbursts from time to time on set, got into a public shouting match with executive producer Federico De Laurentiis. That's the son of Dino. After the incident, De Laurentiis was reported to have threatened to fire Guillermin if he did not start treating the cast and crew better. So, allegedly. Now, of course, none of us were there. So, one of the nights filming the end of the King Kong film at the World Trade Center, over 30,000 people showed up to be on site to be extras on the scene. Although the crowd was well behaved, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, who are the owners of were owners of the World Trade Center, became concerned that the weight of so many people would have caused the plaza to collapse and ordered the producers to shut down the filming. However, the filmmakers had already got the shot they wanted of the large crowd rushing towards Kong. They returned to the site days later to finish filming the scene with a much smaller crowd of paid extras. This I did not know until doing research on this, but NBC bought the rights to air the movie from De Laurentiis for $19.5 million. That was big money back then, which was the highest amount any network had ever paid for a film at that time. When King Kong made its television debut over 2 nights in September of 1978, around 60 minutes of extra footage was inserted to make the film longer, and it had some added or replaced music cues. Additionally, to obtain a lower family-friendly TV rating, overtly violent or sexual scenes in the theatrical version were trimmed down or replaced with less explicit takes, and all swearing and potentially offensive language was removed. Further broadcasts of the extended version followed in November of 1980 and March of 1983. I honestly can't remember if I watched it on TV. I think I did, because I think I taped it off the TV back in the day, but it'd be kind of cool to go back and see some of that extended footage. I don't think this version has any extended stuff on it, but now, this being a big hit, interestingly enough, got mixed reviews from the critics. It currently holds a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes. Richard Schickel from Time magazine wrote that, quote, "The special effects are marvelous. The good-humored script is comic bookish without being excessively campy," unquote. Again, my thoughts on this film. This was the first movie I ever saw in the theater. I'm going to hold up the tape because it's cooler, although it is a little heavier because it's one of those old school tapes. But I honestly remember being in the lobby looking up at this poster as a little kid. And I actually think I said to my dad, it looks like he needs a haircut. I remember my dad laughing, or I said maybe he needs a shave or something. I don't know, whatever a 6-year-old kid would say looking at this. But had no idea what I was going into. I was 6. I mean, all I knew was like Scooby Doo and Adam West and HR Puff and stuff. So this was like kind of like earth shattering for me. I had never seen giant monsters, so this was like quite something for me. But I love this going to see this in the theater, and of course, many years later, seeing it on TV. I'm pretty sure I did. I think I taped it off the TV on a VCR tape, and then in 2005 I grabbed this DVD. I haven't picked up the 4K yet, but or Blu-ray, but I would like to eventually. But this is for me, for now, this is perfectly fine. I love the King Kong costume. I mean, I know like the original King Kong, I don't think there was any of that. It was all just stop motion. And then in the Peter Jackson version in 2005, I think it was all CGI. I mean, the guy, it was like motion capture or whatever, but there was no guy in a suit. And that's what this was. Funny story though, I was working at Blockbuster Video when the DVD came out. And I remember a coworker saying to me, "Oh, that's awesome. You love watching movies with guys running around in gorilla suits." And it actually kind of ruined it for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this might sound really like weird and naive, but like I still think I sort of like partially believed, like, oh no, this is like the real deal. And then when he said that, it kind of like ruined it for me. I've never been able to kind of like, it really takes me out of the movie now when I see it, but I still love it. But anyway, to hell with that guy at the Blockbuster. He was a weirdo anyway. But yeah, I have a soft spot for this film. It had a really cool atmosphere on Skull Island. Like, they had this mist all throughout. The natives on the island, I should say, cool costumes. They did all the dance and the ritual and everything. I would say the Peter Jackson version was maybe a little more interesting aesthetically, like the costumes and just the intensity. It was quite scary, but this one, it's very cool. Like I said, the battle with the giant snake is cool. I won't give it away, but it's the mighty King Kong. I mean, you probably know what happens in the fight, but the effects were good, I thought, in that. I mean, obviously it's just a guy in a suit fighting a giant rubber snake, but again, you add in that mist, you add in that soundtrack. I'm trying to remember who did the soundtrack, but it was kind of like atmospheric for the time, I thought. Again, I might be a little biased because this was the first movie I ever saw on this big screen. So this really, really impacted me. After that, I was, really, really fascinated by like, famous monsters and all that kind of stuff. But there was a scene near the end. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they did build a giant mechanical King Kong, which I think they wanted to use in some scenes, but it just never really worked. And it's really weird and jarring, but near the end, when they've got King Kong in New York, there's some scenes where they use the mechanical Kong in a cage or whatever. It is the weirdest looking mechanical ape that I've ever seen. It's quite jarring when you see it. Luckily, it's only on the screen for like a fraction of a second, but it's really, really strange. I'm glad they decided not to go with that because I thought it looked really, really bad. That was the only thing that really took me out of it. But again, the music was really moody and cool. John Barry was the guy that did the soundtrack. He also did a whole bunch of the James Bond soundtracks, as well as another one of my 70s favorites, The Black Hole. So yeah, the music was really cool. The facial expressions on Kong were really quite scary, I thought. There's one on this DVD, there's a shot of him there. Like, it looks pretty scary. I mean, imagine being 6 years old and seeing that coming off the screen. Like, it was pretty cool. But I still really like the way he looks there. There's another shot of him kind of looking gnarly there. I thought the dynamic between Kong and Dwan, Jessica Lange, was really good, and it was playful, and much like the Peter Jackson version, like it had a lot of that kind of playfulness in it. But I really did like that part of the thing. And yeah, the soundtrack. This edition is obviously VHS. I don't know what year, if it even says on here what year this came out. It says copyright 1979 Paramount Pictures, so I don't know if that's true, if this is actually that old, but it certainly looks very old. It certainly looks very old, but yeah, that's that version. Like I said, I did watch this tape once. It's pretty the sound is really bad, like it's muffled and stuff, so I don't play that tape anymore. It's just on my shelf as a collectible. But this one I do watch. This is the 2005 Paramount DVD. The extra features are a theatrical trailer, and that's it. There's really no special features on it. It has a runtime of 134 minutes, so it is a little bit longer. From 1976, rated 14 in Canada. This is a Region 1 DVD. There's the back if you want to check out some of the stuff on the back. Sorry for the glare. There's Charles Grodin there. Yep, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I would like to upgrade maybe to Blu-ray or eventually 4K once I get a player. I did show you the inside already, but again, just look at that. That's just an awesome image. So yeah, those are those editions. You can currently rent this on Google Play, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime. I don't see this out in the wild at all, so I don't know how easy it is. You could probably get this off of Amazon or something, but pretty nice edition. But like I said, I still am fascinated by this artwork. I don't know, I just love it. I'm gonna have to get a poster of this for my room. So yeah, you can rent it on Google Play, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. And like I said, there is a 4K Blu-ray that came out a couple years ago, I think. So I'm sure that's still available if you want to check it out. But I would highly recommend this if you're a fan of big monster movies. If you like the original King Kong, you might like this, though again, it's not the stop motion. It's a dude in a costume, so it's a bit different in that sense, but still enjoyable. If you like the story of King Kong, you're probably gonna like it. I really love the Peter Jackson version too, although I will say I thought some of the scenes in that were very cheesy, like the dinosaurs and the bugs and all that stuff. I fast forward over those scenes. I like the main part of the movie, especially like the first 30 minutes. I actually like, it really draws me in with Jack Black in New York in the 20s or whenever it was. I actually like all that and the chase to the boat and everything, but I find once you get to the island, I kind of lose interest a bit. I will say I do like the version of King Kong in that movie, though. I thought it was really well executed. I didn't really get into any of the spin-off movies. If you go back on my channel, on my playlist, you will find the 50s King Kong versus Godzilla. I don't know if I reviewed any of the other ones. I think I did review King Kong Lives, maybe, but anyway, that's my thoughts on 1976's King Kong. What did you think about this movie? Did you prefer the 33 version, or did you prefer the Peter Jackson version? Or maybe you're like me and you really like this one. Again, I just love this packaging. Look at that. When I saw this sticking out of the shelf at Value Village, I was like, oh my God, what is this? And when I brought it out and saw that, I was like, that was a good thrifting day. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on King Kong 76. Did you like it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Follow me over on Instagram at Night Owl Video. And that's it for me for today. Be sure to go back. Last week I reviewed The Witch on Fright Friday, and last Tuesday I reviewed The Wicker Man. So last week was kind of a folk horror week. Inadvertently, I didn't plan it, but be sure to go check those out. thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I will see you at the video store or at the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. Hopefully not on Skull Island being chased by King Kong. But until next time, take good care of yourselves and I'll see you in the next video.